There we go, Steelers. There we go. There we go, Steelers. There we go. Here we go, Steelers. There we go. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live Show. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. That is your producer, Jeffrey Cooperstein, who is still waving his towel. He's just really excited about Steelers Thursday here, my man. All right, we got a bunch of great Steelers content coming your way over the next hour or so as Coop's still waving his towel. The latest news and rumors surrounding your Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll be getting into my latest 7-round Steelers mock draft, my 2.0 version. And then we get to a big video today. You guys know that Justin Fields is not my preferred quarterback target for the Steelers this year. I'm going to be laying out the case for and against Justin Fields so that you guys just know my thoughts, my complete thoughts on Fields, the things I'm concerned about, the things that I think are good, the reasons why I would actually be okay if the Steelers ended up bringing him back. He's definitely not somebody that I think would be a complete nightmare as the starting quarterback of this team, but there are some things that concern me that I want to lay out so you guys at least know where I'm coming from. And then we also have the live Q&A this afternoon here, guys. So make sure you guys shout out your city down there in the comment section. And then also use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat to get on today's mailbag. So for example, this is how you get on the mailbag, guys. The real ones know. Hashtag Steelers. Who will the Steelers take in round 1 of the NFL draft? If you put that question in there, because you used hashtag Steelers, Coop will be able to see it. And Coop's going to pick the best questions at the end of today's show.
That is correct.
If you guys want to guarantee that you guys get on the show today, you guys can send in a Super Chat donation of any amount. $1, $2, $5, $10, doesn't matter. If you guys send in a Super Chat with a question, you will be on the mailbag this afternoon. So our donation menu today, guys, we really do appreciate all the donations. It's so great. If you guys want to donate to the channel, every $5 we'll do a Here We Go Steelers chant. Every $20 total that we make on today's show, we've got the gummy clusters, we've got the Skittles gummies here. We'll do some candy tosses. We're bringing back the candy tosses this week, and that's $20 total for the stream. So if 4 people put in $5 super chats, we'll be doing a candy toss, for example. So the rules for the candy toss, all right? Every $20 that we get today, we are going to be doing the candy tosses, so I'll be trying to throw the gummy cluster into Coop's mouth.
I'm trying to reclaim the mouth nickname.
Yes, you are. And if you catch it, then nothing happens. But if you drop it, but if you miss it, then we have a punishment. And today, what do you want to do for the punishment today, Coop? Do you want to do push-ups? Do you want to do sit-ups? Do you want to do burpees? What do you want to do?
None of those, really.
Well, what do you want to do then?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to figure it out, but I'm not going to miss any of them, so we'll be fine.
All right, I'll say this. For every time we miss, I have to do 10 push-ups. All right? Me. So if you drop it, it's on you for me to get the pain. All right? So that's what we're going to be doing.
That's very good coaching speak there.
Yeah.
It's your problem, so you make the rest of the team punish themselves.
Yes, exactly. If you guys want to send in your donations today via Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal, we greatly appreciate that as well. We'll accept every single super chat that you guys send in, guys, but YouTube takes a 30% cut, and then Apple takes another 10% of every single super chat that you guys send in. So with Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal, we get to keep more of the proceeds. So if you want to send in your money to @Jack-Sperry on Venmo, # Captain Jack 19 on Cash App, or @Captain Jack Rabbit on PayPal, we get to keep more of the proceeds to help improve our graphics, improve our equipment, improve our office space, all that stuff that's very important to us here at Chat Sports. It's all made possible by you guys, so thank you so much for all of your support. Before we get into the first segment today, who's Hall here? We got 112 people watching live right now. Spam those me's in the chat.
Cassie's in Goodhue.
Cassie is in Goodhue. Type those me's in the chat.
Do you think there are many Steelers fans in Goodhue?
Probably not. Probably just Cassie's family. Even though they're semi-Vikings fans and semi-Steelers fans, of course. We got Isaac in here. We've got Kevin Reed is coming to us from Virginia. He puts his question in there. Everyone be like Kevin Reed. Get your question in. We got Isaac. We got Matthew Torres. Mr. Deadhead is here. Colby Wolf is here. Christian Andujar is here. Jack Hay is here. We got Matthew Torres. Robert Sutton is here. Got Chuck Dugan. What's up, Chuck? Good to see you. We got Lazy Sharky. Dylan is here. We got Brock Walker. Brock's always here, man. Brock's always here for the
Brock's
live
always
shows. You got to
available.
love it. We got Ali the Reaper here. Hey, Ali, guess what? Coop is back this week,
Ali,
baby.
I'm here.
In New Orleans, it was Jake Chipper, and then we
It
had
was.
Jack Lauderay earlier this week. Shout out to those guys.
Did you see what he said in his most recent response? He says, because if I wasn't here, he said I was about to crash out. IDK, who that Joker was replacing you, but I didn't want to say it.
That's funny. We got Brian03, got Lil J, got a good crew of Steelers fans here to kick off today's show. Make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. And without further ado, man, let's get into our first segment of the day, the latest Steelers news and rumors. We got a bunch of free agency stuff to talk about today. Then we'll get into some draft stuff with my 7-round Steelers mock draft 2.0. And then we'll get into some quarterback rumors here where I'm going to let you guys know my thoughts, my complete thoughts on Justin Fields, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the things that I'm concerned about moving forward. And then we'll get into the mailbag. So if you got a question, don't forget to use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat down there in the comments section. We greatly appreciate your support. So without further ado, let's get into our first segment of the day, the latest news and rumors surrounding...
What the hell?
Are you okay, Coop? Are we all right?
We're having some technical difficulty with the intro.
Coop says we're having some technical difficulty with the intro, so
give me one moment.
So he just needs a moment here, guys. So I'll just give some shout outs to the people in the chat here. We got Isaac in here. Isaac, you're putting at Steelers. You have to use hashtag Steelers. Hashtag Steelers for everybody in the chat.
All right, we're good.
We got Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. We got everybody in the chat today ready to talk some Steelers football with us. So without further ado, let's get into it right now. The latest news and rumors surrounding the black and gold. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today we've got some Steelers news and rumors we got to cover here, especially around the free agency market. There is a new report that the Pittsburgh Steelers are interested in signing a Nick Chubb in NFL free agency this year. Does that make sense? Is that a good idea? I'll answer those questions at the top of today's show. And then a big-name cornerback looks like he's going to be hitting the open market. I'll let you guys know who that big name is and why it could make sense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then Louis Riddick from ESPN says that the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers, quote-unquote, need each other here in 2025. I'll let you guys know what Riddick had to say at the end of today's show, so make sure you guys stick around. But before we get into the content, we are currently the largest individually run Steelers news channel anywhere here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for all of the support that you've given to us here over the last 3 years that we have had this channel. We are now over 76,000 subscribers here on Steelers Talk. We are growing every single day thanks to your guys' support. And this offseason is going to be huge for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to be making some big moves at quarterback. They're going to have a lot of cap space. I think Omar Khan's going to be very aggressive getting veteran players via trade as well. We got weekly live shows on this channel every Monday and Thursday, so you can talk Steelers with some other Steelers fans here on the internet. And then it's all 100% free, guys. We got daily videos. It's all free. It's all premium. It's all great stuff. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. So let's start with the report here from Andrew Filipponi. Says our Steelers insider says on The Fan that the Steelers are very much interested, that's a quote, in signing Browns running back Nick Chubb in free agency, provided the medical on Chubb went well. So unfortunately, I could actually see this happen for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, if you guys been watching the show, you know I want to draft a running back. I think it's too good of a running back class to pass up on this entire class at running back. I think they should bring back the restricted free agent Jaylen Warren, and I think they should pair Warren with somebody in the NFL draft this year because it's a generational class at that position. But I could see Nick Chubb being an option for the Pittsburgh Steelers because Mike Tomlin's respect for Mr. Chubb has certainly been well documented. He likes his running style. The type of run offense that the Browns ran there in Cleveland is very similar to what Arthur Smith is trying to establish here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So stylistically, it is a fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no doubt about that. But I really do think that the problem for me, guys, is that, Chubb looked cooked last year. I mean, plain and simply. I mean, he was just not the same player that he used to be. And before the injuries that he has had, last year, just 3 touchdowns. He averaged just 3.3 yards per carry, and you look at the numbers before that, before the big injury in 2023, like it was over 5 yards a carry. So he went from being one of the most productive running backs in the National Football League to one of the least productive and least efficient running backs in the league. He only played in 8 total games last year, and just got over 100 carries. So, Nick Chubb is certainly somebody that is looking to bounce back, coming off that knee injury that he came back from last year. He's got another offseason to prepare himself for yet another NFL campaign. But with the NFL draft class being this good at the running back position, I just don't know how the Steelers can possibly think that they're going to spend a relatively large contract to Nick Chubb or any other free agent running back, and that includes Najee Harris. I think that, you bring back Jaylen Warren on the qualifying offer or whatever the price tag's going to be there. It's going to be around $5 million to bring back Jaylen, and then you go out in the draft and you draft somebody that's got fresh legs and has a cheaper contract than either Nick Chubb or Najee Harris if you get one of those guys in free agency. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Would you be okay with bringing in Nick Chubb to be this team's number 1 running back? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comment section. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So in just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our friends at Public Rec. And while I'm talking about our sponsor today, go find that pinned comment at the top of the comment section and give me a yes or a no. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Public Rec. And let's be real for a minute here, guys. Nobody's got time for stiff, uncomfortable clothes anymore. It's February, it's getting cold outside, it's been cold for a while, and you deserve to be comfortable in whatever you're wearing, no matter what you're doing. That's where Public Rec comes in. These pants are an absolute game changer because their pants are designed to be as comfy as your favorite sweatpants, but way more stylish. We're talking super soft fabric, no stiff seams, and enough stretch to keep up with whatever your day throws at you. Public Rec isn't just about pants. They have so many great style options, whether you're working all day in the office, running errands, or just grabbing a drink with the guys. And I'll tell you guys this right now. Once you put on these pants, you're going to wonder why you got any other brand other than Public Rec. They're that good. So this February, stop settling for the same old stuff and step up your comfort game with Public Rec today. For a limited time only, our listeners can get 20% off your entire order with code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use promo code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. And I just love Public Rec's line of products, guys. It's more than just pants, too. They got great polos. They've got long-sleeve tees, and I'm wearing one of them right now. I wear them pretty much every single day at the office. You guys see me in plain tees all the time. They're pretty much all Public Rec stuff. Super premium materials. They keep you warm during the winter. They keep you cool during the summer. I can even wear this long-sleeve black t-shirt here during the summer because they're that breathable. And then when it comes to the pants, the game changer for me, guys, is the customizable sizing options. I have kind of a weird body shape. I am tall and skinny. Can't find pants that really fit in department stores or just regular online stores. With Public Rec, you get the customized sizing options, so I can get the best possible looking pants for my body type. You can as well. So this February, treat yourself right because comfort is always in season. Upgrade to Public Rec and feel the difference today. For a limited time only, you guys can get 20% off at Public Rec by using code CHAT20 at checkout. Just head on over to publicrec.com, use code CHAT20, and you're all set. Oh, and when they ask you how you found them, be sure to mention our show, Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. It really does help us out. Find your perfect fit and never compromise on comfort again. Public Rec, where comfort rules. So could the Pittsburgh Steelers be getting a gift from the Green Bay Packers here? ESPN's Rob Diovsky reports that there are strong indications that the Green Bay Packers are going to cut Jaire Alexander, making him a free agent here, free to sign with whatever team that he wants in 2025. Now, you take a look at Alexander's profile here. He's 28 years old, just under 200 pounds, super physical press man corner. He's somebody that you put one-on-one on the outside. He's a bully out there. He's a trash talker. He's all that stuff. And that's kind of the stuff that Mike Tomlin and the Steelers really like. And then he's only played more than 7 games just once in the last 4 seasons, guys. So he's definitely got an injury thing, and that's why the Green Bay Packers are probably going to be moving on from him. And that makes him a risk, right? He's somebody that has certainly had a lot of injuries over the last 4 seasons. He's only had really 1 fully healthy season in the last 4. So that injury risk is certainly going to be there. But it's also a fit for what the Steelers like to do. They like to play bump and run coverage. They like to go man, especially when they play teams like the Ravens and the Bengals with a lot of skill talent like that. And Alexander, I think, would be a pretty decent fit. And you look at the career PFF grades. Now, PFF grading is not gospel, but certainly a nice tool to use to determine, how good a player generally is on tape. And you guys look at his Pro Football Focus grading, and he has never graded below the 30th best corner in the National Football League when he has been healthy enough to play. Did not grade out in 2021 because he was injured. But just this past season, he was the 17th highest graded corner in all of football, and he might be made available by the Green Bay Packers as a cap casualty. So even though he is a risk injury-wise, he is a scheme fit, and he is a very good player. So for a team like the Steelers that's trying to win now, and they're trying to put another really good corner on the other side of Joey Porter Jr., I think you can potentially make an argument that this makes sense for the black and gold. But what are you guys doing if you're the GM here? Would you take the risk on Jaire Alexander and pair him up with Joey Porter Jr. in the Steelers defense? Give me an S if you would sign him, or type P if you're going to pass on him. Let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comments section. So now ESPN's Louis Riddick said on ESPN this week that he thinks Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, quote unquote, need each other right now. Some very interesting stuff here from Louis Riddick. This is what he had to say. They need each other. As great as Rodgers is, and as many great ideas as he has, and he actually is a guy with a huge football IQ, Rodgers needs a guy like Mike Tomlin to say, hey, look, man, you can't do this by yourself. You can't be coach, GM, offensive coordinator, and quarterback all at the same time. I got that part. I'll handle that part. You just level up our offense. And I actually don't disagree with Louis Riddick here. In New York, Aaron Rodgers was really given a lot of free reign. He got to make a lot of decisions in the front office in terms of the players that they brought in. When Robert Saleh had to go away, Rodgers was really acting as like the offensive coordinator, quarterback, head coach. He was really. It was really a difficult job for him last year in New York. They didn't have a great structure offensively. Nathaniel Hackett, once again, designed probably the worst design offense in the National Football League. And even though Rodgers did have some talent around him, Devontae Adams, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, he definitely did struggle with those guys. But I can definitely tell you that coaching staff did not put Aaron Rodgers in a position to succeed in 2024, and that's probably what Rodgers is going to be looking for here if he's going to continue playing football heading into the 2025 season. Riddick also talked about the possibility of Justin Fields coming back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what he had to say. I haven't talked to Arthur Smith about this, although I know how he feels about Justin Fields. I believe they would like to work with Fields and see if they can take his game to the next level as far as being a pocket passer and continue to develop that. And I do think that Fields 100% is in the mix here. I think that the Steelers do like him. And I think that, maybe he's not their first option. We'll see what the pecking order is, when we get closer to free agency and the Steelers can start talking to some of these other quarterbacks. And who knows, maybe the Steelers lock up Justin Fields within the next week or so, the next 2 weeks or something like that before free agency even begins, because this is their guy. But, I think that, the Steelers, if they can't get some of the guys higher up on their list, they would go with Justin Fields. I personally think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be somebody that Mike Tomlin really wants to bring in. Obviously Rodgers and Tomlin have been very complimentary of each other in recent years, but I would give Justin Fields the second best odds to be the Steelers starting quarterback next year. And honestly, I think Rodgers, Fields, and Wilson all have a case right now. I think it's all really close. I think we're really early in the process here. I don't think anybody knows exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers are thinking. But if I have to give my best guess here based on what the Steelers want from the quarterback position, based on the style of offense they want to run, I would say Rodgers has the best odds, followed by Fields, Wilson, and then Matthew Stafford is an outside chance that LA actually makes him available via trade. That'll be it for today's edition of Steelers News and Rumors here in the evening. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we got more great Steelers content coming your way this weekend. And until then, guys, here we go, Steelers. First segment in the books here, Mr. Coop. We still got the mailbag coming up here in just a few short minutes. So you guys can get your questions in. If you got questions about Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, the wide receiver room, the draft this year, I'm happy to answer any of your questions, guys. This is your opportunity to have your voice heard on this channel. And you can do it for free by getting your question in with #Steelers down there in the live chat.
I think I'm in on Raji.
You are in on Raji.
I think so.
So you told me that you think it's going to be Russ that comes
I
back.
still think it's going to be Russ.
You think it's going to be Russ. So
yeah, intern Sam Brown has entered the room.
So based on the likelihood here, what would you rank the quarterbacks in terms of likelihood to be here next year?
I'd go 1, Russ, 2, Raji, 3, Fields, 4, the rest.
For the rest? You like Stafford?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Obviously, I think that Rodgers is probably number 1. And then Fields will probably be number 2. Yes, you can have one. Yes, you can have one, Sam. God, people are coming into my live show right now and asking if they can take my candy.
What a joke.
What an absolute joke.
I want the record to show that I was about to walk in the middle of the
He was.
and just take
Sam was looking at me through the window in the middle of the segment.
Absolutely. So, Coop, I'm going to hydrate here. You want to tell them about our donation menu today?
Make sure you hydrate, man.
I will hydrate. You are welcome, Sam.
This is our donation menu for today. Every $5 we'll do a here we go, Steelers. Every $20 we'll do a candy toss, and if we miss, Sperry will have to do 10 push-ups, and I'll do something. We just haven't made it yet, but guess what? We're not going to miss, so that's no big deal. Every 50 we'll do another 10 push-ups, and then for $100 total, we will stay live 10 extra minutes. 200. I guess Sperry's doing a boot. I didn't.
If we get to 200 today, I'll do a boot.
All right.
If we can get to 100 before the end of the mailbag, we'll stay live for an extra 10 minutes. Also, we're still $20 away from our first candy toss. Still haven't gotten the super chat
Not
today.
yet.
So who's going to be the first one to kind of pop the cherry here? I guess we're going to find out.
Whoa, dude. Chill. Cassie's watching.
So? All right, let's get into the next segment here, guys. It's a draft segment here. It's my 2.0 version of the Steelers mock draft. Our promise to you guys is we're going to get a mock draft to you every single week here on Steelers Talk throughout the entire offseason. So without further ado, let's get into our next segment here, my next mock draft for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Today I'm breaking down my second Steelers mock draft of the 2025 draft season. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. And today we've got 7 rounds of picks for the black and gold here. And now my one rule with this mock, and I'm going to try to keep this going for as long as I can't pick any player that I've already picked in a previous mock draft. All right, so all the players in here are going to be new. And if you guys want to check out my 1.0 Steelers mock draft, you want to see the players I took in that one, you guys can go check out that video that we put out a couple of weeks ago. I'll put that in the comments and description of today's show. That's what the thumbnail looks like so that you guys can find it. And make sure you click that subscribe button to never miss a mock draft from us here at Steelers Talk. This offseason, we're going to be doing it and releasing a new one every single week from now to the big day in Green Bay. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, if you love Steelers draft content and you want it every single day. So in my first round pick here, I'm going to go a little bit outside the box here. I'm going to go Jaire Barron, cornerback out of Texas here. And, I have seen over the last couple of seasons some really, really special nickel-type defenders really transform their team's defensive structure, the way that they play, all that stuff. And I think that an elite nickel defender could really change the way Pittsburgh plays defense. Because last year they really struggled in the slot. Beanie Bishop Jr. made some nice plays and was in the right place at the right time, got some interceptions, but was mostly a liability in coverage. And then Cam Sutton comes in and he was just straight garbage. He was awful. So a nickel defender I think is a big need for the Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason. And you look at in recent seasons, Brian Branch and Cooper DeJean ended up going on day 2, but those guys ended up really changing life for those respective defenses. Branch and DeJean are seen as some of the best defensive backs in all of football. Cooper DeJean, as a rookie, was the highest graded corner in all of football. And I think that Jaire Barron is somebody that is Jaire Barron is somebody that is in the same kind of caliber as these guys. And honestly, I think he's even a little bit more explosive of an athlete as these two guys. And I'm very excited about his future. He's got great instincts. I think that he would just be that chess piece that can float around in the middle of the Steelers defense that I think could really change life for Mike Tomlin and this unit. I think that they're going to address outside corner in free agency. So we'll see what they do at the nickel position. But I think if Barron is there at number 21, that's certainly somebody that they're going to have on their radar. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Would you be happy if Jaire Barron is the round 1 pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers? big-time nickel defender for this team. And I think that this defense is at its best when you have a legit slot corner in there. I think Barron provides that for you on day one. Give me a yes or a no down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or a no. In round 2, I'm going to take Jack Besh, the wide receiver out of TCU. And, Besh reminds me a lot of Juwan Jennings from the San Francisco 49ers. He's very tough to bring down after the catch. He gets ahead of steam. You're not bringing him down. He finishes runs after the catch. He's got super reliable hands, maybe the most reliable hands out of anyone in the draft this year. And I think that he's got quick feet. I won't say that he's got oily hips or, supreme athleticism where he's able to move and change direction super quickly, but he's got quick feet, which allows him to stop and start really quickly. I think that his route tree is a little bit limited as a player, but I do think that with his versatility, his ability to run after the catch, his toughness, and his run blocking ability, man, this guy's the best run blocker in the draft at the wide receiver position, bar none, in my opinion. And Arthur Smith, we know how much he loves his guys to run block. So I think Besh would be somebody that maybe isn't going to be a true number 1 receiver moving forward in his NFL career. I think he's more of like a really good number 2 and a complementary piece, but that's what the Steelers need right now. If they're going to keep George Pickens and they're going to try to keep him around for the long term, I think they want that complementary piece out there that can run block, that can run good routes, that's going to be super reliable as a hands catcher in the red zone and in the intermediate. I think that Jack Besh is a really, really freaking good player. I have him ranked as my number 8 wide receiver in this class, and if he's there at number 52, I'm pulling the trigger on him. Then in round 3, I'm going to go Caleb Johnson, the running back out of Iowa. Now, you might be saying, Jack, there's no way Caleb Johnson makes it to this spot. And you might be right, but there's going to be one of these running backs that's going to make it into round 3 to the Steelers pick. I really do believe that. There's just too many good running backs, and it's such a good and deep class where I think that at least one of these guys is going to be making it to the 3rd round. And in this mock, I'm having Caleb Johnson fall to the Steelers in round 3. He's a very, very instinctual zone runner. Arthur Smith wants to run a lot of zone concepts here in Pittsburgh, and Caleb is at his best when he's allowed to put his foot in the ground, make one cut, and then attack vertically. I think that he's got great vision. I think that he's got that great one-cut ability. And I think that he can be a big-time player in the National Football League. Plus, he's got a little bit of receiving upside. And he reminds me a lot of James Conner when he was coming out of Pitt. Conner was such a physical player, great one-cut ability. Obviously, he had a pretty decent run here with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but now he's become a top 10 running back with the Arizona Cardinals as well as kind of a do-it-all back for them. So I really like Caleb Johnson's profile, and I think he can make an impact on the Pittsburgh Steelers if he's taken here in round 3. So coming up here, we've got day 3 picks for the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up. Round 4, 5, 6, and 7 is coming your way here in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks. And you guys can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the Prize Picks app today to get their phenomenal deals. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action all off-season long, and with football's over, but you can get Prize Picks in on a bunch of different stuff, guys. Basketball is right in the middle of their season right now. Hockey with the international tournament's been absolutely electric, by the way, and you guys can get that going for you guys selves right now. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where every Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. You guys can download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup when you download the Prize Picks app today. Prize Picks, run your game. Here in round 4, I'm going to take Jamari Caldwell, the defensive tackle, nose tackle out of Oregon. 340 pounds this guy is. He is absolutely massive. I thought he showed some really good stuff at the Senior Bowl this year. Some really nice athleticism for his size, and he is a run stuffer, all right? That's what he did there with the Oregon Ducks. With their excellent defense last year. And I think that, it's kind of crazy that this guy on film, with the way that he moves at his size and the way that he can really destroy run plays, I'm surprised he doesn't get more buzz. I think a lot of people that have watched his film really love him, and for a reason. And, right now the Pro Football Focus Big Board would allow me to take him here in round 4. So that's what I'm going to do right here and get the next nose tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he would be the starter on day 1. I think he's that good, and that would allow Keanu Benton to move to either 3 technique or 5 technique, however you want to shift out Cam Hayward and Keanu. And those guys would be more penetrative type players where Caldwell can sit in the middle there, use his athleticism and his strength to be a true run stuffer, take on double teams. I think that's a very important role to fill for the Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason. And here you get your day 1 starter in round 4. Then in round 5, I'll take another defensive tackle here. I'll double dip because I think that the Steelers not only need to add a starting level defensive lineman, because I think they're going to cut Larry Ogunjobi, but I think they need to get some depth as well, particularly in terms of pass rushers. And Riley Mills out of Notre Dame is a really, really good pass rusher. He's just shy of 300 pounds, so he's not like a nose tackle, but I think that Mills is the type of guy that can rotate in his rookie season, and he can provide some disruptive reps from the interior as a pass rusher, and then eventually he can maybe even transition into a starting role when Cam Hayward eventually retires. So it eventually would be Keanu Benton at the 3 technique, Jamari Caldwell at nose tackle, and maybe even Riley Mills at the 5 technique. I think double dipping is a good strategy here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, particularly if they can get some value here on day 3. Then in round 7, I'm going to take another wide receiver here. I'm going to take Efton Chisholm III out of Eastern Washington. And this guy right here was the highest graded wide receiver in all of college football last year. Now, he was playing against lower level competition, but he makes guys miss. He's got some really great size, really good runner after the catch, which I know Arthur Smith really cherishes. And, right now the Pro Football Focus Big Board would allow me to take him in round 7. I think that this would be a slam dunk sleeper pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then here in round 7, I'm also going to go quarterback, and I'm going to go Tyler Shuck. Now, Shuck is somebody that's getting a lot of hype around him right now because I think that his film is actually really, really impressive. And I think the people that have watched his film really like him. He's got a great mental processor. He played under a lot of adversity there with Louisville, who had a terrible O-line and pretty much no weapons for him to throw to, and he was still putting up some really, really good numbers. Got good pocket presence, anticipation. He's got clean and quick throwing mechanics. He's accurate, especially down the field. There's a lot to like about Tyler Shuck's game. But he's very old. He's going to be 26 next year, a 7-year college player, and then he pairs that with an extensive injury history. All right, he had a shoulder. He's had multiple lower body injuries. And it's very possible that we might have like a Corey Trice Jr. situation here where the tape and the age kind of point to like a day 2 prospect, but then, the injury history might drive him down to a day 3 value. And, I think that Shuck is his tape is certainly worth more than a 7th round pick. That's for damn sure. But like if his knee is effed up and his shoulder is effed up, like he might fall down the draft board. And as we know about the Pittsburgh Steelers, they say F them medicals, all right? So, like, if Shuck is still here in round 7, I think that'd be the best case scenario for the Steelers, even though I think on film, he's probably a day 2 prospect. Then my final pick here, my sleeper along the interior of the offensive line, Thomas Perry out of Middlebury, the Division III interior lineman that dominated, in my opinion, the Shrine Bowl practices this year, where he was really showing off some great anchor ability, some nice foot speed. And, obviously he didn't play against great competition there at the Division III school, Middlebury. But he went up against some of the best interior pass rushers in the country at the Shrine Bowl. There's a lot of really good players there, especially on the interior. This is a great defensive interior class, and he held his own and then some. I thought that he really did well in the one-on-one. So if there's going to be somebody here in round 7 that I think could potentially surprise some people, be a nice depth piece that can play center, that can play both guard spots, I think Thomas Perry is somebody to keep your eye on. So here's my mock haul 2.0 here, guys. Jahdae Barron as your kind of slot extraordinaire on the defense on day 1. Then you get Jack Besh, a really reliable, very tough wide receiver on the outside in round 2. Caleb Johnson as your new starting running back in round 3. Your new starting nose tackle, Jamari Caldwell, in round 4. Riley Mills in round 5 as a rotational pass rusher from the interior. Then in round 7, the trio of Efton Chisholm III, Tyler Shuck, and then Thomas Perry. Grade my mock for me down there in the comment section. give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. Obviously, I'm giving myself an A, man. Like I love every single pick in this mock, but it's my mock. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. I greatly appreciate it. And make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like I said, we're going to be doing a different Steelers mock draft every single week. I'm going to try to mix up the players as much as I possibly can every single week so we can talk about more players that the Steelers could potentially be targeting this offseason. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. All right, man. So I've been seeing a lot of people get in there with questions. And I think right now, like, how many questions do we have? We got to have like 20 or 30 questions already submitted. So thank you guys so much for getting your questions in. But I will say, if you really want your question to make it to the show, I would suggest super chatting
for sure.
Like $5. We can do a Here We Go Steelers, and it guarantees that your question gets on the show. And if we get 4 people to super chat $5, we can do a candy toss at some point during the live show as well. So we greatly appreciate you guys. We got a bunch of great Steelers fans in here. I see Omar's burner stop by today. Omar, good to see you. We've got what's that?
I think the pick that I liked the most in that mock was Caldwell. In the 4th round, that feels like great value.
Yeah, I agree. And he's a great player. Super violent hands. And
do you think that he could rise up some boards and maybe sneak into
yes,
day 2?
I think he should be a day 2 player.
Yeah.
I got a day 2 grade on him. He's a really good player. And if you can get him at the early part of day 3, I'm not going to stop people from not putting him higher on their boards.
Do you think DT is a priority for the Steelers in the first 3 rounds, 4 rounds?
It's a priority. But here's the thing about defensive tackle. It's such a deep class.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if the Steelers want to double dip this year, and I think they should, I think that they can do that. And they can get a very good player in round 4, round 5. And in my mock, I have, your nose tackle and your rotational kind of pass rusher going back-to-back in back-to-back picks. So I think
your Notre Dame guys.
One of my Notre Dame guys, Riley Mills. Learn the name. If you ever played College Football 25, by the way, and you play with Riley Mills, he's unstoppable.
Don't play against Sperry in College Football 25.
You guys do not want to play me against
especially with Jeremiah Love.
Especially with Jeremiah Love running those wheel routes, man.
Boy.
So coming up next, we got a very fun segment here, guys. I have been kind of branded a Justin Fields hater. And, I think that, it's certainly fair to say that he's not my number 1 choice at the quarterback position. I am willing to be honest about what I see on his film and the stuff that concerns me. And, I just wanted to make a video today, make a segment, kind of laying out where I'm at with Justin Fields. I'm going to be laying out what I like about his game. I'm going to be laying out the case for going out and getting Justin Fields and being the quarterback of this team moving forward. But then we're also going to talk about some of the things that concern me and some of the things that that give me pause personally about giving him a big contract to be this team's next starting quarterback. So we'll talk about everything here in just a second. We've got Troy Philippa in here. We got Mike G. We got Lucas Skew. We got B-Shep in here. Haven't seen B-Shep in a while. What's up, B-Shep? We got Christian Andujar. Little Yaya, we got Lawrence Smith, Brock Walker. I'm seeing some great questions in the chat, by the way. I'm seeing some great questions that you guys are sending in, so thank you guys so much. We will get to your questions after this next segment, but let me tell you, this one's going to be a doozy. Coop, can you give some shout-outs and chop it up while I rehydrate here?
Make sure you hydrate. What up, pizza is goated, B-Shep. We've got some good questions in here for the mailbag coming up next segment. Mike G, Brock Walker, Lucas Skew, Sheldon Bennett, Omar's burner. Good to see you in the chat, man. Haven't seen you in a while. You haven't sent me any rumors lately.
Speaking of Omar's burner, he is very much on the Rodgers train.
I'm on the Rodgers train.
Coop is kind of on the Rodgers train.
I'm calling him
right
Raji
now.
though.
You're calling him Raji. Rodgers isn't my first choice, but I'm open to the possibility, especially if it means you get Devontae Adams.
Oh yeah.
Because here's the thing. I think if you don't get Rodgers and you don't get Derek Carr, you won't get Devontae Adams.
Does that mean we're also signing Randall Cobb?
No. You know what's funny? You know what my draft?
Alan Lazard.
Do you know? Maybe Alan Lazard, low key. But do you want to know my draft comp for Roman Wilson?
Randall Cobb?
It was Randall Cobb as a very reliable slot receiver that's got some quicks. I think Rodgers would love working with Roman Wilson, but We're going to talk about Justin Fields here, guys. Going to take a full in-depth look at Justin Fields, what he does well, what he doesn't do well here. This is a video I put in a lot of time and effort getting ready for you guys here. I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get into it right now. Justin Fields Spotlight is coming at you guys right now. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today I'm going to be breaking down the cases, both for and against the idea of bringing in Justin Fields and bringing back Justin Fields to be this team's bona fide starting quarterback heading into the 2025 NFL season. Before we get into the video today, it's going to be a longer one, just to prime yourself here. It's going to be a fun one, but it's going to be definitely pretty long. Get down there in the comments section and fill in the blank for me. Justin Fields is a top blank quarterback in the NFL right now. Is he top 10? Is he top 15? Is he even in the top 32? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Can't wait to see how you guys feel about Justin Fields. So, contrary to popular belief here, guys, I've been branded as kind of a Justin Fields hater because, I have other quarterbacks that I would rather sign this offseason than Fields. But I do think that the Steelers could do a lot worse than Justin Fields heading into 2025. And if the Steelers decide to bring him in as this team's starter for next season, I am 100% down to get behind Justin Fields, and I am ready to get behind this team as a whole, and I'm going to be rooting like heck that Justin Fields can become the type of player that lots of people in this fan base really believe that he can become. And he certainly has the upside to do it. He's a dynamic rusher of the football. He's got great size. He's a great teammate. He's a hard worker. He's got dynamic arm talent as well. He's got that high upside that teams really cherish. So 100% be right there with this fan base, rooting on Justin Fields. And I'm not one of those guys that'll say, I'm not watching the Steelers if they sign Justin Fields. That's not what it is. But full disclosure, he's not my first choice. There are other veteran options at quarterback that I would rather get because I do have some concerns about Justin Fields as a potential starter in this league for this team on a team that's trying to win now. So first, let's start with my concerns. Then we'll circle back to the things that I like about Justin Fields and some reasons to be optimistic. The first reason that I have some concern here is that he wasn't that good last year. All right, team was 4-2, but that's just one game away from being 500, right? So 4-2 is still pretty good. He did his job as the backup quarterback, kept the team afloat, all that great stuff, won some football games, protected the football relatively well, better than he had in his entire career to that point. But you have to remember, all right, the defense was the reason why the Steelers were winning those football games. It wasn't because the offense and Justin Fields were lighting it up. The Steelers defense gave up less than 10 points per game in the 4 games that Fields won as this team's starting quarterback. And in many of the games the Steelers won with Fields at QB, they scored less than 20 points. And you take a look at his numbers and his advanced metrics from last season, didn't rank in the top 20 of any of these advanced metrics that I really care about. All right, the EPA per play was 25th. Catchable ball percentage, that measures accuracy, was just barely inside the top 25. His average depth of target wasn't really throwing the ball down the field all that much. His yards per attempt was sitting at 6.9, which ranked 23rd. His big-time throw percentage was 29th in the league, so he wasn't really making a bunch of big-time throws. His turnover-worthy play percentage was the lowest of his career, but still didn't crack the top 20. The time to throw still ranked 40th. He still has a real issue getting rid of the football on time, and then the pressure-to-sack ratio just barely cracked the top 25 as well. And then you compare him and his stats and the offense's stats compared to what this team did with Russell Wilson in there. And all I'm hearing is that Russell Wilson sucks and needs to be run out of town. Well, Russ in the offense scored a field goal more per game than Justin was in there. The yards per play was a lot higher. The EPA per play between the quarterbacks, Fields had it worse. The big-time throw percentage, significantly worse than Russell Wilson's. And then the turnover-worthy play percentage was a full point higher than Russ's. Then you take a look at his passing EPA, and this is something I hear a lot. Justin Fields was getting better every game he was playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. According to the EPA, that actually wasn't the case. His 3 worst games as a passer with the Pittsburgh Steelers came in his final 3 games, even in week 6, where this team scored over 30 points, and he still couldn't get above a 0 EPA for that football game. So Fields, I think, actually struggled in the kind of the final 3 games that he played. Of course, he lost to the Colts and he lost to the Cowboys in weeks 4 and 5. But even in that win against the Raiders, he was throwing some bad throws, some turnover-worthy plays, some inaccurate passes, and it just wasn't the best end to his 2024 tenure as the Steelers starter. And then, if you want to talk about his rushing value, in terms of the rushing EPA, he ranked 26th both in total EPA. He was only worth 2.62 total estimated points above average there, estimated points added. And then the per attempt there was 26 as well, which per attempt, he was just worth 0.04 points as a rusher. So if you think Fields is super, super valuable as a rusher, at least last year, he really wasn't. And then you take a look at where the team really ranked offensively with him in at quarterback. We saw his personal numbers, but the team as a whole, 21st in points per game. And if you take away the Raider game where they had a block punt, they had multiple turnovers, giving the offense short fields, this number goes down to like 18.4, which would have ranked like 28th. The yards per game was sitting at 28th. The yards per play efficiency was sitting at 30th. The third down percentage was about league average, and then the red zone percentage was sitting at 26, so below average. So for me, guys, these numbers need to get better, plain and simply, if Justin Fields is going to justify being this team's starting quarterback. Now, maybe he does get better, but I think we have to have some realistic kind of takes on how good Justin Fields really was in 2024. Then we get into my second concern here, which is that the in-structure playmaking is rough with Justin. It is, all right? When you watch him on film, I think that he's capable of making extraordinary plays, like 2 to 3 crazy good plays a game that will fill up his highlight reel. But when it comes to the down-to-down consistency and playing within the structure of an offense, I think he still really struggles with that. I still think his mental processing, both on his first read and then moving on to his second, third, and fourth reads, it's really slow and it's inconsistent. All right, I think that his upper body mechanics are not really fundamentally sound. He puts his elbow up super high in his throwing motion. He doesn't really set his front side either. I don't love his upper body mechanics, and I think it leads to some accuracy issues. His footwork can also get out of whack, which also leads to accuracy issues at times. The timing, he is consistently late throwing to people in his progression. The anticipation is something you just don't really see on his film all that much. He doesn't anticipate open space, which certainly limits his potential within structure. His pocket presence has been awful for years. He runs into pressure. He doesn't have a really good awareness for space. And then the touch passing, his ability to layer footballs down the field is just not something that's a part of his game. He kind of only has one pitch, and it's a fastball, and he can't really find that changeup where he's able to throw some touch over the middle of the field or deep. And I think in the NFL, guys, you have to be consistent from a down-to-down basis, and you have to be able to win from within the pocket. And that's how you're consistent in the National Football League, is that you win within structure, all right? And you have to be able to, take a 5-step drop, go through your progressions, hit your guy on time, hit a guy with anticipation from time to time. And Justin Fields, at least to this point in his NFL journey, just doesn't do those things, which concerns me a lot about his potential upside heading into 2025. The third thing that concerns me about Fields is that he makes life harder on his offensive line because of his lack of pocket feel and pocket presence. And I think that this has been something that has been apparent his entire NFL career. Now, something that I hear all the time is, Justin Fields is mobile, therefore he'd be good for the Steelers offensive line because he can run away from pressure. All right, and I think that, that's something that sounds good, but I think when you're actually on an NFL field, that doesn't really work. I think that, when you talk about what offensive lines want from their starting quarterbacks, their best friend is somebody that gets the ball out fast, all right? This is why Tom Brady had some of the lowest sack rates in the NFL for years. This is why guys like Aaron Rodgers, guys like Drew Brees, guys like Tua Tagovailoa, guys that get the ball out fast are the ones that help out their offensive line more. And, if you're holding on to the ball for a long time, that's going to lead to more pressure opportunities for the defense. And that's what Justin Fields does, guys. Ever since he entered the National Football League, he consistently ranks at the bottom of average time to throw rankings. Just last year with the Steelers, he ranked 40th with 3.04 seconds. He was dead last in 2023 with 3.23. And honestly, his best number in this category was in his rookie season. So you can even argue that he's been getting worse in this category since he entered the NFL. And as a result, you guys can see the sack percentages here. And once again, It's one of the lowest in the National Football League, all right? Like just last year, 34th in sack rate, was the best of his career, but he couldn't even crack the top 32 in this metric. So Fields takes a ton of sacks, and then his pressure to sack ratio, so this is your ability to avoid sacks and not go down when pressure gets in your face. Justin Fields ranks 25th. So obviously Fields is a dynamic athlete. Obviously he can move, but obviously that mobility and that athleticism is not necessarily helping him out when it comes to avoiding sacks. And like we talked about earlier, I think he's got lackluster pocket presence. I don't think he feels the rush particularly well. And by the time that he realizes the rush is there, they're already bringing him down to the ground. So I do think Justin Fields is actually somebody that makes his offensive lines worse because he hangs on to the ball for too long, and then his lack of pocket presence doesn't really allow him to avoid pressure the way that he should. My fourth concern with Justin Fields here is that he struggles in pass-heavy situations. So this is like 3rd and long, 2-minute drill situations where the defense knows that Justin Fields has to throw the football. And this is where Fields is at his worst, unfortunately, is that when you take away the threat of Justin Fields' legs, and the defense knows Fields is throwing this football, he's not very good, guys. And all the in-structure playmaking stuff that I mentioned earlier really comes to light. His lack of timing, his lack of anticipation, his lack of accuracy. Take a look at his 3rd and long EPA per play. It ranked 34th among 41 quarterbacks with the Pittsburgh Steelers inside this offense last year. That's certainly not going to be good enough. Russell Wilson was top 5 in this category just last season, so he was able to dig the offense out of some really tough situations when they were getting off schedule. And plain and simply, guys, with Justin Fields in there, if the offense gets off schedule and you get into a 3rd and long situation, you can pretty much expect a punt. You can pretty much expect a 4th down after that because the conversion rate is just not very good when Fields is forced to throw the football in these situations. And it really does limit what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be able to do as a team next year if he can't improve this, because that means that Fields is probably going to have to consistently play with a lead in order for this team to have success. If this team is getting out to early deficits and they're going to have to throw the football to get back into games, Justin Fields isn't exactly the type of quarterback that is built to kind of play that brand of football. He has to be somebody that's a little bit of a front runner in order to have success in this league, or at least it's been that way to this point. And then the final point here and the final concern, and this one might be one of the biggest ones that I have, is that he has been arguably the least clutch performing quarterback in the NFL since he's been drafted. All right, he has just been awful in the 4th quarter when it comes to putting teams away, and then when it comes to sealing games with game-winning drives. All right, he only has 2 4th quarter comebacks in his career, and then he has 4 game-winning drives total in 4 seasons. That's not a lot, all right? And then you take a look at his clutch stats. He ranks like dead last or second to last in all of these categories here that we talk about. Completion percentage, interception percentage, 6.6% of his throws in clutch time get intercepted. His passer rating all the way down to 41st. I mean, there's backup quarterbacks that have had better clutch numbers than Justin Fields since he entered the league back in 2021. And then, I also came across this the other day, and I thought it was really indicative of just how bad Justin Fields has been in these tough and these tight situations in the 4th quarter. He's had 17 drives in his career where the team just needed a field goal. They didn't even need a touchdown. They just needed a field goal to win or tie the game. And he succeeded only twice, and one of those, there was an interception from Roquan Smith back in Chicago, and he got the ball at the 25-yard line of the other team. So he's basically 1 for 16 on chances to go and win the football game for his teams, all right? And then you take a look at another damning stat. Not only can he not seal games when he's trailing, he can't seal games when he's winning. He has had 10 games in his career where the team that he has been playing for has been winning in the 4th quarter, and the team ended up losing because of his poor play, or at least in part because of his poor play. That's 22.7% of his entire career starts have been lost with a lead in the 4th quarter. So he has a tough time finishing football games, and that really worries me about a team that wants to win now, that wants to play close games, and wants to win in the 4th quarter. I mean, right now, Justin Fields almost has as many 4th quarter leads lost as he has total games won in his entire career. He has been in the NFL 4 seasons, and he has 14 wins to his name. 4 of them came with the Pittsburgh Steelers just last year. And remember, Pittsburgh wants to play in these close games. They want to kind of, play ball control level football. They want games to be close in the fourth quarter, and they want to finish games. Say what you will about Kenny Pickett and Russell Wilson. When it was clutch time and they needed to make a throw, usually those guys would make a throw. I just don't know if I trust Justin Fields in those kinds of moments. I mean, we saw it last year. He had an opportunity to go and take the game away from the Indianapolis Colts and win that game in Week 4, failed to do that. Then he had a chance to put the Dallas Cowboys away in Week 5, failed to do that, and then they ended up scoring a touchdown at the final second and stole that game from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I just don't know if I trust Justin Fields in the fourth quarter. Now, if he fixes some of the other issues that we've been talking about today, maybe he can turn it around. But to this point, he has been arguably the worst clutch performer at the position, and that's not something I want quarterbacking the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. So coming up here, I'm going to change my tune, all right? I'm going to make the case for Justin Fields because there's legitimately reasons to be optimistic about Fields moving forward, all right? So I'm going to get to those here in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Fanatics, where you guys can get a Justin Fields jersey. If you really believe in Justin Fields, you think he's going to be the future franchise quarterback of this football team, go ahead, get his jersey right now. It's on Fanatics. You can find it at chatsports.com/Fields. It also helps out our channel, guys. Everybody that clicks on the link, chatsports.com/Fields, and makes a purchase, part of those proceeds go back to us here at Steelers Talk by Chat Sports to help us improve our graphics, help us improve our equipment, help us improve our office space, all that great stuff. It really does mean the world to us, guys. So make sure you go to chatsports.com/Fields if you guys want a Justin Fields jersey in your closet today. All right, now let's go to the positive stuff here, guys, because I think that Justin Fields legitimately is built for AFC North football. In this division, you have to be able to throw the football in tough conditions. There's no questioning Fields has the arm talent. He's got the arm strength. He can throw it from any angle and any platform in any condition, weather-wise. And then also he is a dynamic rusher of the football, which is obviously a benefit in these kind of weather games. I mean, in the snow games, rain games, where it really comes down to the run game, having a quarterback that's capable of touting the football, I think is absolutely a benefit for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Second thing is that the Steelers offensive structure is relatively quarterback friendly. All right. Like, they don't give Justin a ton of complex reads or anything like that. It's a lot of bootlegs. It's a lot of quick game concepts. It's a lot of play action deep shots where there's only like two people out there in a progression. And, that's the type of offense that I think Fields needs to be in order to have success. Because he's not the best mental processor, the Steelers need to make things relatively easy for him in terms of the reads that he gets. And to Arthur Smith's credit, he did that last year, and Fields arguably played the best football of his career in that 6-game stretch. So, I think that Art does make things easy for Fields, and I think that in terms of the offenses that Fields could have success in, I think Pittsburgh's structure works for his skill set. And then also, speaking of this system, it'd be his second year in it, all right? So we all know that quarterbacks heading into the second year of a system tend to play better, all right? So we talked about the lack of production from Justin Fields earlier in the video. Now that he's heading into year 2 and he's had some time to really digest this system and this offense, and he's going in with a full year of experience under his belt, maybe he turns things around and he plays a lot better than he did in 2024. That's certainly a possibility. Then we can talk about virtual reality technology that could be a game changer for Justin Fields in speeding up his processor, allowing him to feel more comfortable with what he's seeing on the NFL field on game days. You look at testimonials like Jaden Daniels, who was like a round 7 type of prospect when he was with the Arizona State Sun Devils, and then he goes to LSU. He starts using the VR technology, and he claims that his mental processing speed has gone up 30% since he started using this technology on a daily basis. Just imagine what Justin Fields could do with that 30% extra mental processing speed. And it's more than just Jaden Daniels, guys. It was Sam Darnold with the Minnesota Vikings this year. Now, obviously, it helps to have Kevin O'Connell as your play caller and Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson as your weapons. But Darnold, his mental processing and his decision-making looked so much more decisive, so much better on tape this year with the Vikings than in his previous seasons with San Francisco, Carolina, and New York. And right now, Darnold's about to get a huge payday because of how he played after using this technology. If you guys want to see why I think the VR tech could be a game changer for Justin Fields, we actually did a whole video on this. You guys can check out that video here on Steelers Talk. That one's a really, really good one. Highly recommend it. All right, another positive here is that his teammates love him. All right, if the Steelers bring him back, everybody in that locker room is going to be happy for him. They're going to get behind him. He is going to be the leader of that team. All right, and also the fans love him. So there's that as well. So he's certainly got that going for him. Then another thing that's good with him is that he won't be that expensive. Now, I think he's going to be more expensive than some Steelers fans think. I feel like some people think the Steelers can get him for like an $8 to $11 million contract. Guys, last year, the lowest level starter that was signed last year was Gardner Minshew with the Raiders. He made $12.5 million on his first year of his contract there in Las Vegas. So like $12.5 million is like the absolute floor that the Steelers would sign Justin Fields at. I think it's going to be closer to the $15 to $20 million range, especially with the extra like $30 million being added to the NFL salary cap this year. So I think he's going to be more expensive than some Steelers fans are expecting, but at the end of the day, $15 to $20 million for a quarterback is honestly not that much in today's game. Another thing that is a positive when it comes to Justin Fields is that he could be a long-term solution. If he's able to turn things around and he's able to play on time more often, be more accurate, be more consistent on a down-to-down basis. This is somebody that is like very close. I think he's just a year older than Jaden Daniels. Like, this is still a very young man who is still developing. And if he hits, he can be your franchise quarterback for still the next decade. All right. So that is certainly something that appeals to a lot of Steelers fans that want somebody that's not an old geezer that's going to be here for 1 to 2 years. If you're somebody that wants a quarterback for the next decade, I can certainly see why you want Justin Fields. Then the final thing for the case for Justin Fields here, guys, is that could he be the next Jalen Hurts? Because Jalen, in my opinion, is far from a perfect quarterback, and he has a lot of the same kind of faults in his game as Justin Fields does, yet Hurts just hoisted a Lombardi trophy with the Philadelphia Eagles, and you have to wonder, could Justin Fields kind of follow that Jalen Hurts blueprint for success? I certainly think that is something that could be possible for Fields if he can develop. Some similarities between Hurts and Fields is that they're both legit rushing threats. I think Fields is even better than Jalen Hurts is, though. They're both great leaders and hard workers. You can't take that away from them. They both hold the ball for too long. They are both consistently in the league lead for like average time to throw, where it's over 3 seconds. The pocket presence, I don't like it with Jalen Hurts, and I don't love it with Justin Fields either. They like to leave clean pockets way too often. They both have really good playmaking instincts out on the perimeter, and they're both limited in structure playmakers, in my opinion. Now, I do think that Hurts is more accurate than Fields is. I think his decision-making and his vision is a lot better than Fields is. So these guys are not identical quarterbacks, and Fields still needs to get a lot better to even get close to where Jalen Hurts is. But I think that, both these guys can succeed when you have great rosters, and Jalen Hurts and the Eagles proved this year that if you put an elite roster around a quarterback like this, it can lead to potential Super Bowl success. So in conclusion here, I've made the case against and for Justin Fields coming back to the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. And, I think that he would be a big risk because of all the issues that we laid out on today's show, but at least he's a young, high upside risk. Like, I would rather have Justin Fields over Daniel Jones. I'd rather have Justin Fields over Kirk Cousins. I'd rather have Justin Fields than a bunch of different quarterbacks out there because, even though he's not the established playoff veteran that I would personally prefer, he is still very young and he does possess that high upside. So at the end of the day, there's only about 3 or 4 quarterbacks maybe that I would prefer over Justin Fields. And yes, if the Steelers go to him this year and they sign him and he is the starting quarterback next year, I will get behind him and I will be pulling for him every step of the way. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will Justin Fields win a playoff game with the Steelers in his career? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comments section. And you know what? As a starter, will Justin Fields win a playoff game as the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Give me a yes or a no to finish up today's show. And listen, man, I get it. I rambled in this video, and this is a long one today. But if you made it to the end, that makes you a real one. And I greatly appreciate you guys making it to the end of today's show. So make sure you type real one if you haven't already down there in the comments section to let me know who you are. down there in the comments section. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already for more extensive, in-depth Steelers coverage every single day here on the YouTube platform, 100% free. And until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. Man, I am dehydrated as hell after that segment. How long was it? 25?
No, it was like 20.
It was like 20?
Yeah.
I felt like I was going on forever there, but
You were rambling a bit.
I just wanted to, get my full thoughts out there. And I wanted to put some evidence to my concerns surrounding Justin Fields. Cuz me wanting other quarterbacks above Fields, it's not just based on, I don't like Justin. Like, I actually really like him as a guy and as a player and, as a talent, but the Steelers are trying to win now, and I think that Justin just has such a long ways to go before he can get the Steelers to where they want to go. But that's just my opinion. What are your thoughts?
No, I don't think he's the answer at all. I think this team needs a veteran quarterback who they can go win a Super Bowl with. I just think either Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers just fits what the Steelers are trying to do better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think that Fields kind of fits what they want to do.
Sort of.
But he's going to have to make a pretty big jump if the Steelers want to get to where they want to go next season with him at quarterback.
Correct.
In my opinion. So that's where I'm at, guys. That's my argument. Like I said, guys, I would probably put Justin Fields, number 5 in terms of my quarterback targets this year, somewhere around there. I think you could do worse than Fields. That's for damn sure. But I do think that there are probably better options out there for this team and what they're trying to accomplish next season. But man, nobody would be happier if he proved me wrong. I mean, you know what's funny, Coop? I get branded as a Justin Fields hater nowadays, but I am quoted as saying that I said Justin Fields would be the next superstar quarterback when he came out of Ohio State and he was drafted by the Bears. I was so sure that he was going to develop. I just haven't seen it on tape yet. So I would love for him to become the player that I thought he was going to be coming out of Ohio State. But until I see it on film, I'm going to have my hesitations about him being the starting quarterback of this football team. And that's the way it is. All right, let's get into our mailbag. We got a bunch of great questions. We've got some super chats that we're going to get to here on the mailbag. So let's finish up this week's Steelers Talk Live show with your questions right now on the Steelers Talk Live Q&A. It's my favorite segment of the week here on Steelers Talk, where I get to answer your questions here on the Steelers Talk mailbag, talking draft, talking trade, talking quarterbacks, talking free agency. I can't wait to see what questions you got for me today on this week's Q&A. But before we get into the questions today, make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already to join the most interactive Steelers community here on YouTube. We go live twice a week to talk Steelers football with you guys. We put out daily and free videos on this channel, and we put up daily community posts as well, so you guys can engage and give your take on the Pittsburgh Steelers with a community that bleeds black and gold. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. With that, let's get to our first question, a $5 super chat. First-time super chatter, CJ Ross says Matthew Stafford for a first-rounder and a third or fourth for Cup, sign a cornerback and linebacker in free agency, and then pick up 2 defensive tackles, a cornerback, and wide receiver in the draft. The only thing that I think that I would change there is, actually, I think that's probably pretty good right there. I would love to get Matthew Stafford. I don't think it's going to cost a first and a third for Stafford. I think it'd probably just cost a first rounder. Maybe a fourth rounder or fifth rounder that can get thrown in there. But I think that a first rounder is a pretty good price tag to pay for somebody, and I think that would probably be enough. And then when it comes to Cup, I would personally wait for them to release him. I think that they might release him just because I don't know if anyone wants to take on his contract, and then you can sign him to a more favorable contract here in Pittsburgh. But other than that, I think that that's a perfectly fine plan there, CJ. Got one from Lil Yaya, says, is there a sleeper wide receiver you think can make an impact? I'm going to go with Efton Chisholm III out of Eastern Washington. He was the number 1 graded wide receiver according to Pro Football Focus in college football last year. He had 23 missed tackles, dynamic out in open space. And right now, according to the Pro Football Focus big board, the Steelers could get him in the 7th round. All right, if that is a sleeper if I've ever seen one. Now, obviously, he played at Eastern Washington, so it's not the greatest level of competition. But Cooper Kupp came from that school, and he's responsible for the greatest wide receiver season in the history of the National Football League. Not saying that's going to be Chisholm, but just to point out that teams from that school can have success. So I would go with Chisholm as my sleeper wide receiver to keep your eye on. Now, let me know down there in the comments section, which wide receiver would you like the Steelers to acquire this offseason? Do you want Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp? Would you like to get somebody early in the draft? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. For today's pinned comment, YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time. But let me know which receiver you want to see in black and gold next year. Got one from Kevin Reed. Says, do y'all think we should draft Milam out of West Virginia to pair him with his former teammate Frazier? I don't think the Steelers are going to do that just because I think Milam, I think it's Wylam actually, is probably going to be going on day 2, and I don't think the Steelers are going to be taking a guard that early. I think the Steelers like their O-line. I think the Steelers believe in their young talent that they drafted. I think they think Broderick Jones is going to play better at the left side than he did on the right side. I think they believe in Isaac Seumalo as a very solid veteran guard. Frazier was a top 10 center in the game last year. Mason McCormick had to make kind of a big switch from left guard to right guard, and he had to adjust to the NFL game. He struggled down the stretch, but they believe in his physical talent. And then Troy Fautano, if he stays healthy, I think he's going to be a stud at right tackle for this team as well. So I think the Steelers, they'll get some help and some depth along the offensive line, but I don't think they're going to be spending early draft capital on any player on the offensive line this year. Then we got one from Matthew Torres. Says, based on how the Steelers operate, or better yet, now in the Omar Khan era, do you see them drafting a wide receiver in the first round, maybe trading up for Tedoror McMillan if he happens to fall? Depends how hard Tedoror McMillan falls. I have a massive grade on T-Mac. I think he's an awesome player. I compare him to a young A.J. Green. I'm that high on him. He's an athletic freak at his size. And if he's available, if he gets past like the Bears pick at 10 and he gets into the teens, I would be looking to try and trade up for him. He is super, super special. But, you know, I think that Omar Khan has shown that he's willing to trade up for the right players. If he finds a player that he really likes, he's not going to be afraid to pull the trigger and move up. In the NFL draft, he did it for Broderick Jones, for example. I don't think he's going to pay like an astronomical price to go get him. He's going to have his price to move up. But I certainly think Omar Khan in this era is super aggressive, just like his mentor, Howie Roseman, super aggressive in terms of the trade market. So, yes, I do think the Steelers will be aggressive this year with Omar Khan. He'll be trying to make trades. He'll be trying to make moves, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do this offseason. Before we get into the rest of your Steelers questions this week, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Public Rec. And let's be real for a minute here, guys. Nobody's got time for stiff, uncomfortable clothes anymore. It's February, it's cold outside, and, you know, there's a lot of uncomfort when you're walking outside regardless, and you deserve to be comfortable in whatever you're wearing, no matter what you're doing. That's where Public Rec comes in. These pants are an absolute game changer because their pants are designed to be as comfy as your favorite sweats, but way more stylish. We're talking super soft fabric, no stiff seams, and enough stretch to keep up with whatever your day throws at you. Public Rec isn't just about pants, though, guys. They've got a bunch of great style options with their pants, and then they also have, quarter zips. They've got long sleeve T-shirts. They've got hoodies. They've got polos. They've got a bunch of great stuff all on their website, guys. So whether you're working all day in the office, running errands, or just grabbing a drink with the guys, I'll tell you guys this right now. Once you start getting some stuff from this company, you're never going to want to get stuff from any other clothing brand. It's that good, guys. So this February, stop settling for the same old stuff and step up your comfort game with Public Rec. For a limited time only, our listeners can get 20% off your entire order when you use code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. And listen, man, I'm wearing a Public Rec shirt right now. I wear them pretty much every single day. Shout out to Public Rec for hooking us up. And, you know, I've got like 3 pairs of their pants. And, you know, they gave the first pair to us to try out when they partnered with us. And I bought 2 pairs immediately, 2 more pairs immediately. It's that good, super comfortable, super stretchy. I really don't like wearing any other types of pants now, guys, if I'm being completely honest with you, because they fit so well. They are so comfortable, and you can wear them literally anywhere. So this February, treat yourself right because comfort is always in season. Upgrade to Public Rec today and feel the difference. For limited time only, you guys get 20% off your entire order at Public Rec by using code CHAT20 at checkout. It's right down there in the bottom of your screen right now, chat20 as the promo code. Just head on over to publicrec.com, use that code chat20, and you're all set. And then when they ask you where you found them, be sure to mention our show, Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. It really does help us out. So find your perfect fit and never compromise on comfort again. Public Rec, where comfort rules. Got a $5 super chat from CJ Ross. Appreciate you, CJ. And then this is his question here. How many years do you think we put up with mediocrity with Tomlin at the helm? I think 2 more seasons. Okay, that's what I think it's going to be. Because right now, you have to realize the Steelers' mindset is, okay, we have these players on our team. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick. These players have been with us for a long time. They have been loyal to our brand and to our team and to our organization. And Cam Hayward has 2 years left before he retires. So this team's focus is to try and give this squad the best possible chance to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 seasons. And I think part of that plan is to keep the consistency of the head coach and the coaching staff in place. So even if the Steelers go like 9-8 and make the playoffs and lose in the first round again next year, and they're literally exactly in the same spot, I still think they go back to Mike Tomlin for another year, because heading into Cam Hayward's final season, I don't know if they're going to want to make a switch. All right, I think that they will probably still think that they're just a piece away or whatever. And, I think it's certainly fair to think the Steelers won't win a Super Bowl as long as Mike Tomlin is here. But I think Art Rooney II has a lot of trust in him. He is now the longest tenured head coach in the NFL. And he has won a Super Bowl, and I think Rooney is kind of living off of that Super Bowl run as, proof that he can still do it. So I guess time will tell if they're actually able to build the roster and the team to be able to accomplish that feat. But you have to remember, and you have to keep this in mind, this team is really trying to get Cam Hayward a ring before he retires, and that's in 2 seasons. So I think until then, I think that Tomlin will probably stick around. Then we got one from Mimic Tarzier 235, says, I know Sean Elliott is an elite tackler and is great in run defense, but how good is he in coverage? I think he's fine in coverage. I think that he does fine. Now, obviously, if he's going up against like a slot wide receiver that's way shiftier than he is, he's going to struggle. He's a strong safety. But I think for what he does in the Steelers defense, he's a perfect fit. I thought he was an awesome signing at the time, and I still love the signing. I think that Elliott is an awesome player. I think he showed that last year with a bunch of great tackle moments, TFLs, blowing up screens. I love that he's on this football team, man. I can't wait to watch him play next year. So before we get to the rest of the questions today, make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. We greatly appreciate your support here at Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. And the fastest and easiest way to help us out, guys, is clicking that thumbs up icon. Tells the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying our content, that they should push this out to more Steelers fans like yourselves. So every time you click into a Steelers Talk video, don't forget to click that thumbs up icon. Got one from Ali the Reaper, one of my favorite profile pictures right there. So should we consider going after DJ Reed? Yeah, there's a lot of good corners in this year's free agency crop, and there's a lot of guys that I'd be cool with. I'd be cool with Byron Murphy Jr. I'd be somewhat cool with Jaire Alexander if he can stay healthy. I would like Stephon Gilmore even. Like, there's a lot of good corners that fit what the Steelers want to do that I think would be very good complementary pieces. Jack Jones is another guy that's going to be hitting the free agency market. But DJ Reed, very consistent player. Would love him in the black and gold as well. Then we got one from the Gabe Zero. Says, how about Emeka Egbuka and bring back Justin Fields? I don't hate it, man. These guys, I believe Egbuka's been there for a while. So I think that did he play with Fields? It's right up there. I don't know if these two actually played with each other at Ohio State, but I think Egbuka was there for 5 seasons, which I think would have been his freshman season. Might have been when Fields was still there. I don't know, but obviously Ohio State guys. I'm a big fan of Egbuka's game. Slot specialist, but I think he has the chops to play on the outside as well. Great after the catch, so Arthur Smith's going to love him in that regard. I think he's a great fit for what the Pittsburgh Steelers want to do. So, hey, if they bring back Justin Fields as this team's starting quarterback, I'm down. Got one from Byron Davidson. Says, what do you think about drafting one of the star Texas defensive tackles in the draft? So, Coop, I know about Alfred Collins here, and, he's a good player. Really good run stuffer. I would love for Alfred Collins to be here. Who's the other guy that he's talking about here?
I don't know if there's another guy on the defensive line.
Is he talking about defensive Texas A&M?
Maybe A&M. They have Shamar Turner and Shamar Stewart. Those
like,
are both good players.
Yeah, Texas A&M has 2 really good players in Turner and then Stewart that can play on the interior. But there's a lot of good defensive tackles in this class, man. You could probably get a good one in round 5, and I'm not even joking. It's that deep of a class at defensive tackle. It's probably the deepest class of any other position in the draft this year. So, yeah, man, I think that Alfred Collins would be good. Shamar Turner, Shamar Stewart, all of them are good players. I would love to bring any of them here to Pittsburgh. Going from Lazy Sharky, says, hey, Jack, first off, wanted to say I love your content, and I watch pretty much every video you guys post. And second, if by some magical reason Tomlin gets fired, who do you want at head coach? I would want Brian Flores. The reason why I would want Brian Flores, and by the way, thank you, Lazy Sharky, for watching all of our watching our show, man. Thanks for your support. But Brian Flores, I think, is the type of guy that can fill Mike Tomlin's shoes, not only as a leader, but also as a personality. Because we know Tomlin is one of the most charismatic people you're ever going to find, man. When he walks into a room, like, you notice it. And Flores is that kind of leader, in my opinion. People really respect him. He's a high-energy individual. He's a brilliant defensive mind as well. So for all the Steelers fans saying we should have kept him as DC, well, now you get the chance to actually see his defense if he's the head coach. Plus, he's got connections to the Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay kind of tree offensively, so he can pluck Josh McCown or somebody else from that kind of tree, the up-and-coming young offensive mind to lead the offense. For me personally, I think Brian Flores would be a perfect fit to be the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I would be thrilled if he ends up being the guy. And, as long as teams keep passing on Brian Flores, it seems like every single season I'm saying there's no way he's going another year without getting a job. And I think because of the Miami years and some of the rumors about how he handled the quarterback situation is kind of putting a damper on his prospects of getting another job. But if they do move on from Tomlin, the guy that I would want is Brian Flores. So let me know down there in the comments section, if the Pittsburgh Steelers fired Tomlin, who would you guys want as the next Steelers head coach? It's a great question from Lazy Sharky, so answer it for me down there in the comments section. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. That's the end of this week's Steelers Talk mailbag, but don't you fret. If you got a question, you want to get it on the show, put hashtag Steelers down there in the comments section, or you guys can join us on the next Steelers Talk live show where we take your questions yet again. All right. 4 segments in the books.
Before we get on out of here, I did want to bring one last one up. I just didn't want to do it in this segment. Let me go find it real quick. Here it is. From our guy, Luke. Are you going to watch the hockey game tonight? Of course.
Of course.
USA.
USA. USA. USA. Let's go, baby.
We will be locked in. No question about it.
We will be locked in today. That is for damn sure.
Sperry.
So, yeah.
When I say fuck, you say Canada. Fuck.
Canada.
Fuck.
Canada.
We do a lot of that on this channel.
Yes, we do. Yes, we have said fuck Canada more than once on this channel before. Haven't said it in a while because Matt Canada has been,
They fired him in the middle of last season.
Has been gone for a long time now, but it's been a lot of fun.
Cassie's best friend is getting her wisdom teeth taken out?
Yeah, Cassie's getting her wisdom teeth taken out
Cassie
tomorrow.
is or her best friend?
Oh, no. Her friend is. Cassie's not.
Okay.
Her best friend is.
Got it.
So I think that's Tana. Or is it Kelsey?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
F-U-C-K.
Canada. God, you know what?
Dumb and stupid.
I don't miss Matt Canada being the offensive play caller here.
I do miss that song.
I miss the song. I really do, man.
I mean, I think you repurpose it a little bit. It's
Oh.
You dumb and stupid man. It's you dumb and stupid land.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yes, we can do something for that
51st
tonight,
State?
yeah. By the way, Cassie, she's referring to my best friend,
Emma.
her sister Emma.
Are you
So-
gonna text Emma?
So, no, I probably won't text her, but
You're not gonna tell her good luck with her surgery? That's kind of fucked up.
good luck with your surgery, best friend. There you go. How about that, Coop? All right, so thank you guys so much. We still got 100 people watching
Real
live.
ones.
You guys are the real ones. We'll see you guys next Monday for the next Steelers Talk live show. We got great content coming your way this weekend, so don't go anywhere. Click that subscribe button. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.
Adios.